Was Netflix able to achieve a unique and interesting horror movie, or is Bird Box just a shameless ripoff of Quiet Place? Well, the answer is...
Psych! That's the wrong number!
Well, I'm not just gonna tell you. What? Listen, this would not be very good content if I just answered the question in the first 5 seconds. It's more complicated than that, alright? Trust me. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. Sorry I haven't put one out in a while. I just finished up finals and then my relatives came for the holidays, but now all of that's done, so I'll be able to put out videos more consistently again. And starting by the next video I'll put out, I will have my brand new camera and stuff, so expect a higher quality image and all that good stuff. So Bird Box is Netflix's latest original film starring Sandra Bullock. So just basing off the trailer, it seems like Bird Box can be a little bit similar, and by a little bit similar I mean exactly the same, as the summer hit A Quiet Place, which I think is a genius movie. Both of them have a family in the woods struggling for resources, and they're deprived of one of their senses, A Quiet Place being that you can't speak, and Bird Box being that you can't see the evil creature. But what I didn't expect and what they didn't really show from the trailer is that Bird Box is basically two movies combined in one. There's Sandra Bullock from 5 years ago when she was pregnant and when this whole thing started, and then there's 5 years later when she's stranded in the woods with her kids. And as the movie goes along, it's constantly switching between the flashback and the present day. So the part from the present day is basically explaining, well, it doesn't really explain, but kind of giving the general background of what's happening in the world, why there are mass suicides going on all over. Because the thing about these evil creatures is that they don't physically harm you, you just have an uncontrollable urge to kill yourself if you look at them. And as the movie goes along, you really get virtually no information on what these things are. Are they aliens? Are they demons, spirits, or we don't know. In fact, you can't even see them. They're basically just the leaves spin around when they show up. So eventually in the beginning, well, pretty immediately in the beginning of the movie, you basically have all these actors like John Malkovich and Sandra Bullock all stuck inside one house, and they're trying to figure out what's going on out there and how are we going to survive. This part of the movie is just fair. It has its ups and its downs, but it kind of seems like a very stereotypical a bunch of people stuck in a house horror movie. Like, there are definitely parts of that section that are kind of interesting, but then there are other parts where it just seems like you're watching some summer young adult horror flick, especially a lot of the parts with Machine Gun Kelly.
It's fucking weird as
Like, they kind of did the stereotypical thing where they had exactly one of every single type of person you could have in a house. The acting was fine, it just seemed a little corny, and there was a lot of really strange decisions about the whole thing. Like, without necessarily giving it away, in probably like the first 15 minutes of the movie, you see somebody watch their significant other die, and then there's just no reaction from them at all. Like, they literally just died and they went bruh. Like, it just seems so unnatural that just from the get-go I felt already like a big breaking of immersion from the movie. And they really built up Sandra Bullock's character as being like really shy and a huge introvert, and like she doesn't like going outside and interacting with people, but the moment she got in the house, after like 5 minutes, she was acting like a completely normal person that is stuck in a house with a bunch of strangers. And then we have the second half of the movie, which is the Quiet Place ripoff. In this part of the movie, basically from what you can see from the trailer, Sandra Bullock and her boyfriend, played by Trevante Rhodes, and her two children are stuck in a house in the middle of the woods, and they're basically fleeing from these creatures or whatever. And exactly like A Quiet Place, they are struggling to take care of their family, and they're struggling to keep up their resources, and they have all these little do-it-yourself solutions all around for them to be able to travel from one place in the house to the other and around the property and the little farm thing they got going. It is strikingly similar. But for some reason, throughout the whole movie, if you're inside a building and the windows are closed, you don't need your blindfold. The creatures just for some reason cannot get inside. They don't explain why, but they'll walk into a house they've never been in, they'll like touch around on the windows if they're closed, and they'll be like, all right, it's safe. And they all take their blindfolds off at the same time. But it's like, if these things are invisible and they fly around like like amongst the air, why couldn't they just go underneath the door? Like, it doesn't really make much sense.
Why are you closed? Tell us why you're closed!
And another thing is the creatures, or aliens or spirits or demons or whatever the fuck they are, they get you to kill yourself, but if you just keep your eyes closed, there was no evidence of them hurting you at all. Like, they rustle the trees and stuff, but once they get up next to you, they basically just taunt you to try to get you to take your blindfold off and be like, hey, bitch, open your eyes, look, take a look at me. I'm your long-lost best friend. You haven't seen me in so long. Why don't you take your blindfolds off? It's really strange. So the way that they got around the creatures actually killing you if you have your eyes closed is that anybody that has, like, any sort of mania, like they're crazy, they, for whatever reason, just don't kill themselves. Doesn't make any sense. But they like feeling unbelievably sad so much that they basically worship the creatures like gods, and they're basically the villains for the family that are stuck in the woods. They're basically, it's not really about opening your eyes when you're outside, it's about, oh shit, these crazy people are gonna come and try to get us to take our blindfolds off or kill us. And again, as you can see from the trailer, Sandra Bullock and her kids decide that they are going to go for like a Hail Mary, get the hell out of there, get to this sanctuary or whatever. And I actually think that once they start going to the sanctuary, this little adventure that they have where they have to go down the river, I actually think this is the strongest part of the whole movie. There's very little distraction, and it's basically just Sandra Bullock getting to show why she's a good actress, and then the kids do a fine job. They get to set up the atmosphere to be exactly the way they wanted, and it's very ominous, and it's good. It's fine. So to answer the question of, is Bird Box a ripoff of A Quiet Place? Not really, because that part of the movie really took a pretty small percentage, to be honest. If it was like beginning to end, exactly that one part where they're on their property with their do-it-yourself ways of getting around, and they, you know, that would be a little, that would be a pretty strong ripoff. But they did try to add this whole beginning part where they're stuck in the house. The good news is that this is a Netflix movie, which means if you have Netflix, it's not going to cost you anything to watch it. That being said, go ahead and watch it. I recommend watching it as a free movie. If this was out in the movie theaters right now, I would probably say don't go see it. As a free movie, you're just taking, what is it, 2 hours out of your life to watch this movie. Yeah, it's enjoyable, it's entertaining. Would it be worth going and spending $30 on you and your two friends to go see? No. I think your best bet with this movie is go in, don't set it to a very high standard, just go in and be like, yeah, I'm gonna see like a decent horror movie. And then you come out and you're like, that was a decent horror movie. Wasn't amazing, wasn't bad. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and give Bird Box a 7 out of 10. It's a pretty respectable movie. It's, you know, like I said, you're not paying anything for it if you already have a Netflix subscription, so go ahead and watch it. It's not like a horror movie that's going to keep you up at night. I think honestly calling it a horror movie is being a little generous. It's more like a thriller. I mean, it's not scary. So just, you know, take some free time, 2 hours, go out with a pretty good experience. It's not amazing. not gonna be nominated for anything. But it's a fair movie. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe. If you agree or disagree with the movie after you watch it, feel free to comment in the descriptions. I'm always willing to discuss my opinion on it. If you thought it was like crazy, it's like so much better than Quiet Place, feel free to tell me I'm an idiot. But yeah, so stay tuned for more videos like this coming up. I'm going to be making a video on Aquaman and Into the Spider-Verse, hopefully as soon as possible. And I'll have my new camera, so that'll be lit. Not this crappy webcam anymore. But yeah, I hope everyone had a great Christmas and have a happy new year.